job I was asked to do for Carlsberg for elephant beer. So we had to create a key visual of the beer pump. The message they wanted to bring over was that the beer was so strong that you could only have a pipette full of it. So we had to create a model of a beer pump and then put the pipette on the front so to bring over this idea. And then I was asked to create a look for the key visual and clean up any problem areas in the metal. So let's now go to the original and then we'll see where the problem areas lay. So you can already see, without zooming in at full size, that we've got pretty big problems here with steel. So if we zoom in more, then we can see that we've got lots of scratches and marks and it looks very unclean. We've also got dents here in the metalwork. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to show you the way that I would approach it. Obviously you're going to have big problems trying to work this out. I don't even bother trying, so I'll just show you a few tricks and tips and the way that I photographically get rid of these bad areas in metal or glass or whatever. So we'll just zoom out slightly and just pan across, and what I'm going to do is go into selection. I'm actually going to select an area here, fairly large area, and I'm going to copy and paste that. And I'm now going to go into transform and just turn it around and go down here because this is where we want to use it. So we'll just enlarge it slightly. We don't want to go too far because otherwise the structure's not the same as the structure here. And I'll just stretch it slightly. And normally we can get away with this because people don't look too closely at what's going on. So this should be okay. Now what I want to do is actually get rid of the areas I don't need. So I'm going to go up into select, and I've kept the mask of the pump that I've used to actually cut the pump out. So I'll just load the mask again. And you can see I've got an active mask again. And if we go into quick mask, you see that the mask is the wrong way round. So we're going to go back again into an active mask and go up into select and select inverse. And now I can just go into backspace and the areas have disappeared. We'll just then close that mask. We don't need it anymore, so we'll close it. Now once again I'm going to go into select. So I've already made a mask now for this section of metal. So it's called new metal. So we'll select that and I'll make a layer mask. And now, as before, I'm going to actually go into my brush tool. We'll zoom in a bit. We want to see what we're doing. So we'll make a large brush because we want a nice soft edge here. And we'll just start brushing into our mask just to give us a nice soft edge so we get this nice brush steel feel. So that's fine. Now here I'm not going to do much. I'm actually just going to go down in the brush. I want a fairly sharp edge. And I'm just going to brush the beer pumps back because obviously we want to see those. Just brush those back lightly. And back here again onto the second pump. And here, because I've got a straight line, I'm not going to do anything with a brush. I'm actually just going to take a selection. Just move across there, just line it up, and again, as we did before, I'm going to say old backspace, and there we are. We filled it out with black, and it's now disappeared. So we've got a nice clean line to what we're doing. So if we go back out again, we've got a nice clean area of steel. Now we go back to the layer with our pump, and I'm actually going to make another selection, and I'm going to make a selection from here because what we don't really want to do, we don't want the same structures here, we want it to be a little different here. So what I'll do is I'll copy and paste that. And again, we'll go into transform. This time we're going to turn it the other way. And just take it down. Stretch it across a bit. And we'll say that's fine for what we want to use it for. And again, I'm going to go in load my selection, which will be the pump. Say OK, and we're going to invert that again. And I'll just say again, backspace. Thank you very much, it's gone. So we'll also now get rid of our mask, we don't need that. And again, you've guessed it, I've already made a mask for that section. So I'll go into load selection. And this time we'll say new metal 2, which is the bottom piece. And we've got our mask. And then we're going to make another layer mask. And again, we'll zoom in. Take a nice big brush. See the advantage of pressure sensitivity. And we're going to brush just back so that we get, and again, a nice vignetted soft edge. Take it back a bit, down. And you can see it's getting rough here. So we'll just go down, then just go back to our background color and just brush lightly back. So I'm not touching the tablet very much now, just brushing very lightly. And there you are, a nice clean steel. You never know that the marks and scratches that have been there before were there. But ever the eagle eye, I've found something else which I don't really like. There's a dent up here. So we'll go in now and I'll show you again how to use the patch tool that we've used before to get rid of this. So let's zoom in. And then we can go over to the spot healing brush and we'll go to the patch tool. And again, as we did before, make a circle around here. As you can see, I'm still in my mask, so we can't affect the mask with the patch tool. So we need to click onto our actual image. And then again, as we did before, I'm going to look for an area that I can use, but you see it's not allowing me. Could not use the tool because the selected area is empty. So I'm obviously on the wrong layer. So that's a good opportunity to show you. You need to keep looking at which layer you're on. So we'll go down to the right layer and then we'll carry on showing you what you've got to do. So we go to the pump layer, and now with the patch tool, we'll just look for an area what you think's okay. And we'll say okay, just get rid of the selection. Not quite right, but it's actually showing you basically what we can do. So I'm going to stop there because I think if you play around with it yourselves, you can see what we can do. Perhaps we'll go in once again, just have another go, see if we can just get it a little better. So just go in, drop that down. Okay, we've got slightly better effect, and we can just go over with a clone now, just a few spots. So we just go in and just take those spots down. So as you see, although it's automatic, nothing is 100% automatic. And if you're working like I am, we have to be perfect. So I often have to do just a little bit of retouching afterwards. So for argument's sake, we'll say this is okay. So let's now go back to our complete image. And what we want to do now is we want to work on the background. You see there are dents and everything here. Well, it's not even worth trying to use an airbrush or work on those because it's a fairly neutral image. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to cut part of this background. We're going to go down the middle, make a selection, cut this area, and then just flip it over. So we'll show you how to do that now. So I'll go again into select, and I'll select the area actually that I want to use. So this is the right hand side, and we'll now say copy and paste. And this time I'm not going to try and move it with transform or whatever because I might be out of line. So I've got a much easier way of doing it. I'll just go into edit, into transform, and I'll just say flip horizontal. So that probably happened so fast that you didn't actually see what happened. So we'll just click on the icon off and on to show you that we've actually flipped that part of the image horizontally. You'll notice at the bottom it's darker, and when I go back to the layer then it becomes lighter. So now we're going to move it from right to left, and I'm going to hold the shift key down because I want to keep it at the right level in the horizon. So we'll just move across. And there you see we've got a nice clean side and it looks pretty even. Huh? But I don't want these two areas to look alike. So I'll go in and let's pick a colour. We'll just go into a big brush again. And I'll just brush this light area out a little bit just to neutralize that a little bit, so we've got a slight difference between left and right. And I'll say that's fine. So now I can actually drop that layer onto the other one. So I'm going to go into merge down and we'll just merge that down. So we've got a nice clean background. So after this workshop, I hope that you've not got as many problems with glass and steel anymore, or with damaged backgrounds. So this is a nice, quick way of working and making nice, clean images.